Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we will focus on the third chapter of the first unit, Glimpses of Greatness. A unit that urges one to be self-confident and unique. It also motivates one to dream high, and it instills in qualities that are needed to be successful in life. We are discussing the chapter If, a poem written by Rudyard Kipling. This poem is a decoded version of what the poet wants to convey through his didactic words. It awakens a variety of feelings within the reader as it's touching in its sincerity and is full of humility and warmth. Rudyard Kipling is one of the greatest writers of English literature, known for his poems, novels and short stories. He wrote tales and poems of British soldiers in India and stories for children. He was born in Bombay and was taken by his family to England when he was 5 years old. The most representative pieces of Kipling's are The Jungle Book, yes, the movie, Jaison stories and American Notes. And this poem which we are dealing, titled If, is one of the most appreciated and recognized work of Kipling, mainly because of the timeless appeal of the passing down of wisdom and knowledge from father to son. Just look at the title, If. If is a condition, and so the poem is a set of conditionals for the speaker's son to follow in order to become an ideal citizen, a perfect man, or a good leader. If, as I said, it's a father's advice to his son. Here, the father advises his son to perceive the world and the life complexities. If, as I said, it's a father's advice to his son. Here, the father advises his son to perceive the world and the challenges of life, so that he could learn from the experiences of his life and resolutely overcome the barrier. It is a token of, or the token of personal philosophy and wisdom that the father imparts to his son has universal appeal. He is setting parameters and boundaries for his son to follow and giving him a goal to achieve. Now we'll get into the poem. I'll read the poem, just listen. If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, not talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with the crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, So that was the poem. Now let's analyze each line of the stanza. We'll get into the very first stanza. Kipling offers these instructions not through listing specific characteristics, but by providing concrete illustrations of the complex action of man. If you look at this very first stanza itself, you can see the repetition of the word you or your. It's used almost 7 times in the stanza. So you're sure that he is directly speaking to the reader, or the father is talking to his son face to face. Now let's see the lines. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. It just tells us that the need of each individual to be courageous, to be strong, and to be cool. Even when everything is happening in the wrong way as we have not expected, we need to be strong and courageous. That's the first lesson that the poet is trying to convey to the reader. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. The second line tells us about the need to trust ourselves, the need to believe in our potentials and in ourselves, even when the entire world is doubting you. And he also makes us clear that it's sure that the world may doubt you, but he exhorts its readers to ignore the doubts of the world and to believe in ourselves and in our potentials. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. The third line tells us about an important virtue or important virtues that a man has to follow in his life. It's patience, and the next one is honesty or fortitude of character. He asks us, or he encourages a person to be patient. That's the very first line. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, they need to be patient in life. Or being lied about, don't deal in lies. And then he says that don't deal with lies, don't lie in your lifetime, and never deal with lies, never get along with lies. Even if the whole world is lying, don't lie. Be honest and hold up a character that is worthy. Or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, not talk too wise. Finally, he tells us never to hate us. Whatever happens in our life, never to hate us even if others are hating us. And yet, don't look too good, not talk too wise. And that's the greatest message he's trying to give us. And in the last line he says, or finally he says that not to boast or seem too perfect and too clever about our strengths. And that's it. Don't look too good, not talk too wise. So in short, the first stanza is all about self-confidence. He needs us to believe in ourselves and in our potentials. At the same time, to keep enough room in our head for all the problems and oppositions or opposing ideas. To be courageous, to believe in ourselves, and the end, he asks us to keep up 2 virtues in life, patience and honesty, and to live self-righteous. Thus, he instills in us all the very virtues that a person has to have in a lifetime. Now, let's get into the second stanza. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 impostors just the same. These lines, it tells about dream and thoughts. It focuses on the need to dream high, as the very unit tells us or motivates us. So here it's about dream and it's about thought. He asks us to dream and think profusely, but at the same time tells us that we should never allow dreams and thoughts to control us. These dreams and thoughts of a human or a person or a leader should be put for public good. but we should never allow them to control our life. The next most important thing that he tells us is about triumph and disaster. How to handle these two impostors, that's how he calls it. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. In these two lines he tells us to handle triumph and disaster alike. He tells us that they are the impermanent things in life. And he tells us never to be influenced by the moments of triumph and disaster, because success and failures are part and parcel of life. They come and they go. You have to handle it alike. You should not be carried away by triumph, neither be feeling sorry for the failures that come in our life. The poet calls them by impostors because they are powerful and they have a disguise of permanence. So he asks us to handle both triumph and disasters alike, and both triumph and disasters are fickle as the wheel of fortune. So that's what he tries to communicate to us through these lines. We'll continue in the next class with the following stanzas. Till then, take care. Thank you.